Talking about our trailer and the options we saw at the Overland Expo Mountain West 2022, and kind of what we're thinking we might like to strive for because there will be some striving before we can afford anything from there. So right now we're running the Jayco pop-up. I can't remember what year it is, but it'd be old. Every time we take it out, it's just got some more trim coming off, another seal giving out, another latch failing, something like that.
Door spring falling off.
Door spring falling off. That was our biggest fight lately. So, we're just planning for the time being to ride the wheels off of it. And we've talked about just refurbishing it and keep rolling with it. Unfortunately, I think it's going to need a lot of help if we do that. It would probably be cheaper than a $80-some thousand Explorer trailer or something like that, or a hiker.
They have nice koozies though.
They do. I like the Explorer trailers.
Yeah.
But so refurbishing the pop-up would be cheaper than that, more than likely. But then there's a lot of man hours put into it.
Even building your own.
Your own
would be far cheaper, but it would take so much longer that you wouldn't be out adventuring if you're busy building your own ride.
Right. So, and that's something else we've talked. In Oklahoma, you can find pretty often some of the little old retro campers and
scamps and stuff.
Yeah, and you can, those are easy enough to rebuild from the ground up, basically. But again, just a lot of man hours that when we're home we just don't really have. These roads are awful. Anyway, So, what was your favorite option at the Expo if we were to be able to just upgrade to something else?
If we had unlimited funds and money was no object, I would obviously go for one of the Overland World Expedition vehicles. Something giant, 6x6, opulent luxury, multiple thousand watts of solar and multiple air conditioners and everything else. But obviously that is not an option because we do not have unlimited funds. If we were going to be doing this a lot more often, I would say getting something in the Sprinter van, 4x4 adventure series, or the Storyteller series, or something along those lines would probably be the most bang for our buck. And I enjoy having a setup that I can stand up in that has a toilet and a shower that you can be inside. I like my showers, and that is going to be a premium. And then also coming to find out that there are not a lot of things that are offering full-length queen-size beds. I don't necessarily need the full width of a queen-size bed, but I need the length because I am tall enough that I don't like hanging over the end. So it would be interesting to just get that kind of configuration set up and not have all of the detriments of like a pop-up or something like that. But I'm sitting here towing our Jayco at 16.4 miles per gallon and happy about our good gas mileage. I don't know if it's just because we're coming down in altitude or we've got a tailwind or what, but that's rock star mileage with the trailer. And if we had something that was far bigger, they would be cutting into our gas mileage. Obviously there's the Black Series, the Brooders. I don't remember seeing a Brooder at the Overland Expo.
I don't remember seeing a Brooder.
They had some Black Series. They had a lot of the top end stuff, and yes, it is very, very nice. It is a level of luxury that I would love to attain at some point. But the $90 to $100 and some odd $1,000 that they're asking for those trailers is just well outside of the range of financing for almost everybody. The camper that was probably the most squared away, 4-season capable, off-roady, higher ground clearance, larger tanks and everything else was the Winnebago EFX.
I can't remember.
It had some letters after it, and it was basically the Overland boondocking version of their, I wanted to say it was probably like a 19-foot or 21-foot camper that had extra solar panels, extra battery capacity, extra water capacity for just staying out a little bit longer. They had a show price that was comparable to a lot of other campers that are out there, but it was well better built than most of the campers that we had seen. It had no wood. It had all of the non-rotting composite walls. It had dual tracks on each side for its slider as opposed to just one. It just did a step up above what a lot of normal campers were doing, but
yeah, the Winnebago was really, really competing hard.
Yeah.
And doing well. The only thing with the Winnebago, though, was that it was going to absolutely cut into your gas mileage. It was a bigger trailer. It's a bigger trailer.
It's going to be a giant brick that you're pulling behind your ride.
Yeah. And that's something that we've been struggling with, too. He wants something that he can stand up in. And I very much enjoy being able to have at least enough room to open the door, walk in, take muddy shoes off, dirty hiking boots off, and then crawl into bed if I need to. So I don't necessarily need like the toilet or anything like that. I like that option, but that standing up room and being able to take off my shoes and leave them by the door is pretty important.
I'm trying to remember which little expedition vehicle had the Sallyport area where you were coming up. There was a door, and then that's where the shower was. So you could like sit there, take your muddy shoes off, rinse them off at the shower head, and then all of that water was outside of your living area.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stepped into your living area.
Right. Was that one of the tent ones?
No. That was one of the expedition vehicles. The big.
Oh, one of the great big ones.
The great big ones.
Yeah.
Where you have to climb a ladder like 7 foot off the ground.
Yeah.
Or stairs.
I absolutely was not thrilled with the big expedition vehicles. They were cool. They
cool.
had the cool factor, but it's not something I would want to drive or ever feel comfortable driving. And I could, some of them, I feel like I could, because I've driven the wheat trucks, the grain trucks, the feed trucks before out on the farm.
Yeah, the big giant expedition vehicles are like almost like a semi.
Yeah, and I'm sure I could. I just would not feel comfortable doing that. And that is a level of opulence that I guess I would rather have in a house and then have a little tiny camper still. So,
Be mobile.
Yeah.
Now, if money was no object, obviously you just go and get the earth roamer, and you have that level of opulence. And
Right. Which even if money was no object, you still don't just go and get the earth roamer.
Right. You put yourself on a waiting list.
You put yourself on a waiting list.
At some point, they will tell you when your earth roamer is ready.
Right. So
But
anyway,
they're nice.
They are nice.
They are stupid nice inside. Right
Yeah.
now. And
I think my favorite there, and I was surprised by this, I had been poo-pooing the van life stuff. It was fun watching other people do it, but I was like, living out of your van, that's kind of like living out of your car, and it's just weird. But then whenever I got to see the van builds there, and definitely the Storyteller Overland builds, I was pretty much in love. Those are about perfect. The only thing that's not perfect about them is for him and the bed. The short beds. So
I think if you got like a flare side on both sides, you could.
Which most of them had a flare side.
At least on one side. But
and it still wasn't. Well, one of them we walked through had a flare side on both sides, and it still wasn't.
It still wasn't set up.
He would still have to be curled up. For me, that's not a big issue. And if it ever ends up just me and Whitney soloing it, then that would probably be what I go for. Again, you're going to have to be on a waiting list. But
there's a lot of Sprinter van build companies now, though. So
there are.
Free Market's going to take care of a lot of the fly-by-night places. They're not going to be reputable maintenance and stuff for long term, and then the cream will rise to the top. So I don't know what that looks like right now. We haven't done any research, so
right.
We'll have to figure it out.
Right. So the vans did appeal to me a lot more than I expected, and then of course there were a lot of nice camper options there. So, and I'm trying to remember now what that one was in Oklahoma.
I
can't remember. I'll have to find that. I liked them too. They were okay. Yeah, they were okay. And they had a bigger bed.
They had the bigger bed.
Yeah, they had the bigger bed that he would be more comfortable in. And then there was the standing room that I could walk in and kick some boots off. It wasn't a lot of room, but it was workable. I was going to be okay with that option. And tiny. So, I think my only issue with it is that it was a pop top. And so again, like we've talked with the pop up or pop top, you still have like that little tiny aspect of tent camping to it. And that vinyl is going to wear out faster than anything else. Even with you taking care of it as well as possible. Anyway, there were some cool options for sure. Most of them were going to have a waiting list, even if we could afford it. And at this point, we still really don't know what we're going to do other than just drive the wheels off of this little camper and shake it to death and to pieces.
It's only a minor water leak.
Yeah, it's only a minor water leak. Anyway, and then figure out something from there or go back to tent camping again. So,
So excited.
yeah. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.